And welcome back, everyone. You're watching City Sparks, and before the break we were talking to makeup artist Angela, and she's going to do a quick demo on how to do proper contouring, because that is a current trend right now. So Angela, why don't you go through some of the do's and don'ts of contouring? What are some of the tips that you can give our members of the audience?
Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to get a palette, a contouring palette that's close to your skin tone, and make sure there's some tones in here that are 1 or 2 shades darker, so that you can create the sculpting that you need to do. Right. So first we're going to start by analyzing the face and seeing what kind of shape face she has. So our model today has a round face, so there's specific contouring that we have to focus on for her face shape. Right. So the very biggest thing that I've noticed is that people don't blend well. Right. So we're focusing a lot on blending and how to properly apply based on that shape. Absolutely. So I'm going to start with a tone that is 1 to 2 shades darker than her natural skin tone, and that's where we're going to apply the contour, and that's going to be in the hollows of your face structures. So we're going to do over here a little bit, but mostly because she has a round face, we have to contour around this area here and over here, and we're going to highlight under her eyes and a little bit on her forehead and her chin. But blending is the most important thing to do. Okay. So
before we go on, let me introduce our beautiful model as well. We've got Kyla here, who's sitting in for us. So now you're going to start off. Generally, I've seen that you use the darker color and you kind of, draw out the features of the face. So why don't you show us the appropriate way to do that?
So ideally, everyone wants to have an oval face shape. So that's the point of the contouring, is you want to create that illusion of that oval, perfect face shape. Right. So we're going to start from the top of the temple, and we're going to work our way down, and we're just going to use a shade that's 1 to 2 shades lighter, and we're just going to drag it a little bit lower to create that illusion.
So you're starting at the forehead and you're kind of moving onto the cheekbone, collecting, like, joining them together. Yes, just for her face shape. Okay. Depending on your, certain face shapes, you will have to sculpt only under the cheekbone in certain shapes, but in hers, it has to be starting from the top of the hairline all the way to the bottom. I want to mention also that, despite the fact that it's, the huge trend right now, there was a famous makeup artist that made a comment that we were talking about earlier, Bobbi Brown, and she said that, there's beauty in that round face too. So contouring, I think it's gone crazy, but everybody should kind of take everything with a pinch of salt and do it if it looks good on them. Exactly. Yeah, and then there's a proper way of doing it, because I see a lot of young girls doing it and it ends up looking like dirt on their face, or they're not blending properly. So let's start off by putting the line of, there you go. That's just with the contour, and then you're going to start dabbing and blending. Which is the main thing about contouring, I think. Blend, blend, blend. Now the main areas that need to be highlighted are generally the middle of the forehead, the nose, and the chin area, correct? Yes. Yeah. In her case, we're going to be creating a diamond effect under her eye for the highlighting. Now, as well with the nose, there's lots of different contouring methods too to make a wider nose look slimmer, or just to change the shape. But again, with the blending is the hugest thing. Otherwise, it ends up looking like you've used markers on your face and drawn. Exactly. So blending is really, really important. Right. So what are you doing right now? Right now, I'm creating the diamond effect under her eye. You need a really small amount of product onto the brush. It doesn't have to be really caked on to create the effect that you're looking for. So you're literally drawing like a triangle? An upside down triangle. Triangle, nice, nice. Oh, here we go, okay. So this has a slight shimmer to it, just to pick up the light, I'm assuming? Yes. Yeah. So with highlighting, you want to go 1 to 2 shades lighter than your natural skin tone, so it's going to be the opposite of the contour. So what is the best way to check the appropriate colors for yourself? Is it in the inner wrist usually, or your hand? Like, how is it best to, because a lot of foundation mistakes where also, the wrong colors are used, either it's too dark or too light. So that's the problem, is most people will
do it on they'll try to color match on their hand. And color matching on your hand is incorrect because your hand is generally exposed to the sun more than the rest of your body.
True.
When you're driving. And so you want to color match on your neckline. So your jawline.
Right,
That's the best way to color match.
Right.
But you want to go 1 to 2 shades lighter and darker with the contour. So you can pretty much gauge how light and how dark to go.
Okay, so now you're just highlighting her chin, I see.
Yep, I'm highlighting her chin.
Nice.
And we're going to do a little bit of sculpting around the nose. This would go with any face shape. You could just, all around, it's basically the same technique. So you're going to just grab the highlight and you're going to drag it down the center.
And that's generally just to pick up the light. To draw attention, you bring it to the center, and then the darker shade goes on the sides.
Yes.
I'm excited to get to the cheekbones because that's the toughest part, right? A lot of mistakes were made on the cheekbones. Now, how about that fish face? Are we supposed to make the fish face, or are we supposed to suck in our cheeks? When
you are, actually, yes, you are. It really helps to define the cheekbones and for your artist to find the hollow in your cheeks.
Right, right. Well, she's got beautiful cheekbones to begin with, so now you're putting the darker color on the outside of the nose. I see, okay.
And you'll notice I'm not really caking it on because this is the underneath contouring that I'm going to be doing. You'll also contour on top with powder after you've applied your foundation and the setting powder.
Right. So there's lots of products on the market. Now I've seen the powder contour kits, and then there's the sticks. They've even got the sticks out that you just kind of rub on. Which one do you prefer to use, and which one do you think blends better?
I think it depends on the type of skin that you have. So if you're more oily, you might be